Hello, welcome back or welcome to the channel. I am Simnity ASMR. Today I'm so excited. I'm going to be continuing the guided story visualization from my video from last week. I had so much fun making it, and a lot of you said that you liked it, so I've been wanting to just make another one. So this is going to be a continuation of the story. So if you haven't seen the other one, I'm going to do start with a recap, setting the scene for the one for today. I also will link the first one in the description if you want to watch that one as well. But yeah, so here is the setting the scene. So basically, up till this point, you were at the gas station. You found a door in the wall next to the normal door. You went through it and you found yourself in the woods, in a wintry woods. There's snow everywhere. There's talking animals, and you meet a deer named Claudius who brings you back to this little village of houses, and then there's a mansion, and it's a big dining hall, and there's a bunch of animals eating, and there's a spot for humans, but there's no humans. And then you go up to the room you're staying in, because it's also a hotel sort of thing, and yeah, and then you go to sleep. So today, now, you're waking up. So you are waking up from a very comfortable sleep, very deep, cozy sleep, and you're super, super comfortable. The blanket just feels exactly how it should. It's the type of cozy that you feel when your alarm is ringing or when you have 5 minutes left to sleep. It's that type of cozy. And you're waking up and you're like, where am I? This is a little bit strange, but right when you wake up, you kind of have that forgetfulness. But you open your eyes and you're like, this is not my house. Where am I? And then you remember what happened the day before. And you remember that you're in this giant sort of welcoming house in this little village in the wintry woods. And you're still very comfortable, even though you're kind of ponderous. You're like, okay, what exactly have I done? What exactly do I do now? And you sit up and you are hungry. You wonder when or how to encounter breakfast. And then you remember that next to your bed there is a mini bar with snacks and drinks and all kinds of things. So you go over to the mini bar and you're looking for maybe some coffee, maybe some breakfast, and you see the bell that Claudius the deer left for you. And you think of ringing it to get someone to come up and help you, but that feels a little, I don't know, you consider it, but it feels you just feel kind of self-conscious about the idea of calling someone up that you don't know to your room in this house full of talking animals that you also don't know, besides Claudius, but you don't know where he is. So then you kind of just decide to sort of look around, because you might as well, know what's happening, know more about the house where you are. So you open the door to your cabin. You're still in your pajamas, by the way, but who doesn't want to be in their pajamas? And you're walking out back into the hallway that has the doors to other rooms, and then you go back down the stairs that you went up with Claudius, the stairs that lead into the dining hall. And so you walk down the wooden stairs, you come back into the dining hall, and although last night there was a bunch of animals, that was very human-centric of me to say. There was a bunch of animals. Now, today, all you see are just a couple. So there's a mouse who's in the corner, and he's kind of, slowly eating his food, but also doesn't really look like he wants to be talked to. And then there's 3 squirrels that are fighting over their nuts. So clearly not the right moment to interrupt them. So then you decide to go to the kitchen door that you saw in the corner the night before, where the wood creature came out of and served you dinner. So you open the door and you go into the kitchen. The kitchen is kind of like an old-timey kitchen, not in a gross way. It's very, very clean, and it looks beautifully maintained. It has warm lighting, and it has sun coming in through the windows. And the stoves are like, I don't know how else to describe this. They're like old-timey stoves. So there's like a wood-burning stove underneath, and then there is like the thing you put the pots on top, like the circles. Oh my gosh. The circles on top of the stove, and there's some pots hanging from like these wooden racks on the ceiling, and they're like metal pots, and they're not like super shiny steel. They're like cast iron pots, and like darker metal pots. They look like they are clean, but they get used. And you can see a pestle and mortar, and you can see lots of bags of flour and sugar and cocoa powder and lots of different ingredients. And there's some sets of doors on one side that you imagine lead to pantries, and there's wooden burning ovens, and there are sinks, big like basin sinks, and there are several of those wood creature things. So you're standing there sort of taking all of this in, and one of them comes up to you and it speaks, and you think it's the same one from last night, but you don't know yet if they have different voices. It looks a little bit, you can see it now in the daylight, and it has more detail. So it was still the same creature from the night before. It's not really humanoid shaped. It's made of definitely wood, bark, branches, and moss, and you can't quite tell where the voice comes when it speaks, and it doesn't really touch the ground. It more wafts. But in the daylight, you can also see tiny little red mushrooms, like these, but tiny. And little sprigs of like, they almost look like teeny tiny clovers coming out from the moss and like in between cracks of the bark. And this one talks to you, and it says, "Good morning. How are you feeling today?" Changing my seating position. I'm about to sink to like very far down in the frame, but it's okay. And you say, "I feel good. I slept really well," because you did. You slept amazing. And I had a great night's sleep, and it was very comfortable. You say, I have some questions though. Maybe can you help, or do you have food? And the creature says, "Yes, we have food. What would you like to eat?" And so you tell it your favorite breakfast food, and it says, "Perfect, you can be seated in the main hall if you'd like. Please make yourself comfortable, and we will bring the food out to you when it is ready." And you say, "Okay, thanks. What's your name?" And the creature says, "Oh, well, my name is..." And you say, "I don't really know how to pronounce that, but that's a beautiful name." And the creature says, "Thank you. Our human visitors usually call me Melinda, so you can call me that if you want. I don't know what it means, but some man with a very interesting hat, he just decided to call me that one day, and it stuck, so." And you say, "Actually, can you tell me about the human visitors? I mean, why is there no one else here? Why am I the only one?" And that dear Claudia seemed to think that there's, people come here on purpose. And the creature says, oh yeah, sure, I can explain, but I really think that you should eat first because it's good to have a proper breakfast in the morning, and I could talk to you while you're eating. So you go out to the hall and you sit down, and a few minutes later the creature comes out with your favorite breakfast. Everything, all the hot stuff is super hot, the cold stuff is perfectly cold. It's like the best breakfast ever. And you sit down, or you're already sitting down, and you eat the breakfast, and it's so good. It's everything you expect it to be. It's everything you want it to be. It's the most delicious breakfast that you ever had. And as you're eating, the creature doesn't say anything, but once you remember that you had some questions, you look up, and the creature kind of doesn't smile, but the moss kind of shimmers and the little sprouts kind of curl towards you, and that seems like a smile. And Melinda says, so would you like to ask questions, or would you rather I just give you a brief informational imparture? And you say, the second one, because then you don't have to stop eating to ask questions. And so Melinda says, well, this place is just simply a place for people who need it. It is a place for animals who need it, and it is a place for anyone that needs to just take a moment, a brief moment in time, to pause, to relax, to regather oneself, one's thoughts, recenter oneself away from the speedy timeline of the real world. And you say, well, with your mouth a little full, well, so you're saying this isn't real then? And Melinda says, oh no, it is. It's just a colloquialism. The real world is usually what we refer to as the outside world, but it's just shorter to say real. This place is real, and we are real, you are real, and you are really here. And you are safe here. I'm not sure if anyone's told you that yet, but you are absolutely safe here. Sometimes we forget to mention that to new guests, and people come in confused and wondering. And she continues, life is fast. Life is speedy, ever-changing. Deadlines happen, and it often feels like you just can't keep up, even with other people around you. So, this is where people come to take a break. And yes, most people do come on purpose. It's a knowledge that's passed on generationally, typically through families or occasionally through discovered literature. There are tricks and ways to come here. It's very complicated. Anything involving magic is. There's all types of little rules and regulations. For example, you can pass the information on to direct family members, but not to anyone else. However, one does not have to be blood related to be considered a family member. One just has to have a close enough relationship to the other person. Again, it's very complicated. And she pauses and looks at you, you think, and says, I heard that you didn't come here on purpose, that you just found a door. Perhaps something is changing in the rules. Perhaps more people will come the way you did. And you say, I actually wanted to know, where is everyone? I heard from Claudius that there's people. You're usually more than just me. And Melinda says, well, yes, actually, probably next week there will be more. This is just a slow week for us. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe the whole world is slow right now, or maybe people just happen to have other things going on. There's not a great volume of people who know how to come here. There's plenty more animals, so. And then you ask, because this has just been on your mind the entire time, you say, how can the animals talk? I mean, if there are animals from the real world, how can they talk? And Melinda says, oh, well, first of all, it's very astute of you to notice that these are in fact animals from the real world. And you realize that you just kind of assumed, but you'll take the compliment. And she says, well, to them, you're actually speaking in their language. It's just all barriers to communication are removed here. So, for example, if someone from a country whose language you don't speak arrives here and they only speak that language, you'll be able to understand them perfectly fine because everyone can communicate here. And you say, well, that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's very cool. As you're finishing your food and the creature is talking to you, Claudius comes into the building and he says, hey, I'm sorry that I maybe wasn't the best welcoming committee to you yesterday. I don't usually do that sort of thing, but welcome again. Great to have you here. My friends and me are gonna go ice skating. If you want to join us, you're welcome to. And you do want to go ice skating, so you turn to Melinda and she says, you know what, it's sunny. It's not going to be sunny for the whole rest of the day. The sun goes down early in the winter, so why don't you go out, have some fun. We'll all be here when you come back, and you can ask plenty more questions when you do. My heater is making noise. Please stop. This always happens. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. Hopefully, mission accomplished. So, Claudia says you should probably go and, change into something warmer first. So, you go up to your room, which is 207, and you go to the closet and you open it, and this time, instead of pajamas, it's full of all kinds of winter clothes. So you put on some red long underwear, and then you look in the mirror and you look funny because you're wearing nothing but red long underwear, which makes it look like you're wearing one of those like green screen CGI suits, except for it's just like red and it's long underwear. And and then you go back to the closet and you pick out like this really fluffy kind of like white cream sweater and some black snow pants, and then a really nice parka over top that's your favorite color. And you didn't even know they made parkas in that color, so you're in luck. And with your favorite color parka, you also have some socks as well, some very fuzzy fluffy socks. And as you're putting the socks on, you're drinking a bottle of water and you spill some of the water and you're like, darn it, I spilled the water. And then you go to find a towel and you step in the water with your sock, except for then you realize that it didn't get wet, and then you're like, oh my gosh, my sock didn't get wet, and then you try it again to see if it works, and it didn't. So they're waterproof socks. And you go to the bathroom and you get one of those little hand towels, and it has like a little holly leaf and berries embroidered on it, which is so cute. And then you clean up the puddle on the ground. And then you get some snow boots from the closet and some really, really nice gloves that you're assuming are also waterproof. You're correct, they are. And they're very soft on the inside. And then there's like a scarf in there and like a thing to cover your face if you want it, so you get all dressed up how you want. And then you go back downstairs and Claudius is there with a few other deer. And he says, These are my friends, Benjamin, Justine, and Rory. And they all sort of go, hello, Claudius introduces you with your name, and you kind of are like, hi, because it's hard to introduce yourself to a group of living things. It's like, who do you look at first? But they all seem to like you right off the bat. You seem to have made a pretty good first impression. So the five of you walk out of the building, and as you come out into that village, Claudius and the rest of the deer lead you off a side path that leads to kind of to the side of the main path that you walked in on. And you guys walk through into the woods but nothing is really blocking the path. So it's almost like there's trees around the path, but it's like a hiking trail, and there's plenty of room for you all to walk through it. And it's also wide enough that like you don't have to be like by yourself. Like there can be like somebody next to you, so you're not like feeling weird and awkward being like by yourself. So you guys are walking along. The boots are really squishy and comfortable. They have arch support, so they're very good for your feet. And you are walking next to Rory, and you turn to her and you say, "Do you like ice skating?" And Rory says, "Yeah, I do. I love it. It's super fun. I just love any type of fast-paced outdoor activity, and skating is like super fun in the winter." And then you, for some reason, decide to ask, "Is it always winter here? I came here and it was winter, and I'm not sure." And Rory goes, "No, that's a great question, actually. You're not the first one to ask that, which that makes you feel better." And she says, "Yeah, no, we have like all 4 seasons. It's very, I think they're all beautiful in their own way. Winter is really fun for the outdoor activities, I have to say. But one time, a human taught us how to water ski, so now we water ski during the summer, which is also one of my other favorites. I love water skiing." So you guys keep walking, and then after not that long, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, you come up to a clearing, and there is a huge, not quite lake size, but definitely a giant pond. And you can see all around it just the circle of like pure white trees, like all the snow is undisturbed. It's just like this ring around the pond, and then like the banks are kind of like dense packed snow, and then it like fades into the thick white ice of the pond. And you guys go out there, and you go out to the pond. The deer like go off to the side, and there's like this little hut box thing, and Claudius reaches down and he pulls out little ice skates for deer, and they perfectly fit their little deer feet, and they're just the cutest thing ever. And they're the laces are like they're like slip-on, so they don't have to tie laces. And they're just cute. They're just cute little deer ice skates. And there is also some human ice skates, so you find one pair in your size, and you put them on. And you're not 100% certain about your ice skating skills, but the ice is super smooth. It's not like bumpy or crystally or like, there's no divots. And so all the deer, they sort of glide out onto the ice, and you kind of wobble after them. And Benjamin says, "Oh, I recently learned how to skate, so I kind of have all the tips still at the front of my brain, so I can teach you. Let me show you how to skate." And so Benjamin kind of like tries his best to sort of demonstrate with his deer legs, but explain the human way to skate at the same time. It's a little confusing, but you do get it eventually, and after like no time, you're super fast, you're flying along the ice with the deer, and you don't fall even one time. And they teach you a game where you grab a tree branch, and then you skate as fast as you can, and another deer or person has to come and grab the tree branch from you while you're skating. And it's not tug of war, so if someone pulls it, then you have to relinquish it to them. But you can like try and get away from them and like zigzag on the ice and like go backwards to try to avoid that. So you get super good at skating, and it's really fun. And then you're like tired from the skating after a couple hours, and you're super thirsty because winter activities are very thirst inducing. So you're like, "Guys, I am so thirsty. Is there water out here?" And Justine is like, "Oh my gosh, you have to try this drink. It is so good." And she skates back over to the hut, and next to the hut there is like a closed hut, which she thought was more skates, but then she opens it, and it's all these like little cups of drinks. And she takes one out. The handle is very interesting because there are 2 handles on each cup. One of them is a normal handle, and then one of them just goes straight out. So like this is the cup, and the handle goes straight out like this, which you thought was weird, but then she reaches out and grabs the straight out handle with her mouth because she doesn't have hands, so it works perfectly. And she hands one to you, and she says, these are just like really hydrating winter drinks. They taste like holly berries, but they're not actually holly. There's no holly in this. Do not eat holly berries. They are poisonous to humans. And you say, oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I knew that, but you know, if I saw someone else eating them, I might have eaten them out of peer pressure. So I'm glad you said something. And she's like, yes, no problem. And you drink it, and it tastes like kind of like cranberry juice, but it's very light and sweet, and it's super refreshing. It just like totally hydrates you. It's not cold, it doesn't make you feel cold, and you drink it and you're feeling super refreshed and hydrated, but you're definitely sore. You're definitely done skating for the day. And so everyone takes off their skates and walks back to the village, and the sun is kind of setting, and you want to ask more questions and you want to learn more, but first you want dinner. So you sit down in the dining hall. Your dear friends sit at the animal table across from you, but you turn around so you can still chat with them, and you have your favorite dinner. Again, you kind of tweak some things so you can try, you know, more foods, but it's like a super delicious meal, super nourishing, nutritious, and you feel just comfortable and strong and cozy and so relaxed. And then after you finish eating, Justine says, if you want, I can show you the library after. Sometimes we like to go to the library and hang out or read, and if you have questions, it's the best place to go. So do you want to go to the library after dinner? And you say, yes, obviously, I would love to. That sounds fun. So you finish your meal, and you scoot closer down to a fireplace, and you just look into the fire as you're finishing up dessert, and you just feel happy. And you do feel like you're feeling calmer. You're feeling like you're catching back up with yourself and just having a moment where nothing else is going on, and you get to skate with deer, and you're gonna go to an interesting library soon and find out more, and you just feel so super cozy and happy. Alright, that is all the time I have today for this guided visualization story video, but like I said, these are so fun to make. So if you guys have or if you guys want to see more of these, let me know. I would love to continue the story. I could do another one too, but yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed. Let me get really quick, I'm running out of footage, but let me get a message for you. I hate having my nails short like this, but one of the videos I want to make soon is like a spa video, and I'm gonna be like digging into products, so I had to cut them. They were getting too long. But let me just pull a message really quick. Oh, this is nice. This one says, it is so normal to mess up while figuring things out. That is so nice and so true. Please don't beat yourself up while you're figuring stuff out. Everyone messes up sometimes. As long as you're trying your best, I think that you are doing more than enough, and I am so proud of you. It's normal to be so hard on ourselves, so I think as long as you're trying, and you're doing the best you can, like, that is so enough. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. I love making these videos, so I just really love that people enjoy watching them. And yeah, thank you again so much for being here, and I hope that if you are about to sleep, that you have very good and peaceful dreams, that you're relaxed, that you have an awesome night's sleep, and you wake up feeling really refreshed. And if you are trying to get stuff done, I hope that you are feeling more focused and that you get everything done you want to, and even if you don't, that you don't beat yourself up about it. And I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day/night.